of You
podcast where we are here to do what, my friend?
give you all the ease.
So we're here to equip, to educate, and to empower the body of Christ so that we can do what?
Live the abundant life.
Live the abundant life. Yes, yes. So we're so excited.
It is my absolute pleasure to introduce Phillip Michael Williams. We've been friends for I think it has 2 digits in it now.
It has to be.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. And before we really get into it, I really want y'all to understand what a beast Phillip is. I have to present that first. All right. And then we're gonna get into it. All right. So Phillip is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Whoop whoop. And he is a skilled aircraft mechanic, and he has worked with the Air Force for 6 years, but his true passion lies in professional bodybuilding, and that's how he and I met. Okay. Despite being diagnosed with Myasthenia Gravis.
Myasthenia Gravis.
Yes, tell good. Myasthenia. Because hooked on phonics, sis. Look, I just need America to get Myasthenia Gravis in 2012, which is a challenging muscle disease. Phil's determination got him back on the stage. It's literally something that usually would put people down. But like I said, Phil is a beast. So we're here to talk about his journey today. And I think a side note for me is, when I'd be like, okay, Phil, I want to train legs. And legit would call my friends and be like, listen, I'm about to go train with Phil. I need prayer support because why is she signing up? But and I want to say this exactly as I wrote it because it's the truth. His will, his push has always motivated me to go harder, not just in the gym, but in life, because I could see how he is what kind of excuse do you really have? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? All your stuff works. Yeah. Yeah, all of your stuff works. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Phillip Williams.
Oi, tudo bem. I just came back from Brazil, so I speak Portuguese. So I speak some Portuguese today.
That's what's up.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Is Phil trying to leave America? I see you on the slide.
Listen. We understand, bro.
That's my retirement home.
Is it? Brazil? Because you've been in? Okay. Yeah. So, just to kind of give some background about
Myasthenia Gravis, not
right. Myasthenia Gravis is an autoimmune condition that attacks your muscles, and there's this extenuating circumstance of weakness that happens that is exacerbated after activity and things like that. So typically you'll see the facial drooping or eye drooping, muscle weakness, a flat facial expression. Sometimes people can have problems breathing. Sometimes there's difficulty swallowing, right? And so I know that it's a neurotransmitter, not to get too geeky with it, but acetylcholine is the one that's the issue.
Yes.
Right?
It fills up the nerve receptor, so it's almost like trying to park a car where your nerve cell can't connect to the nerve receptor. So it's like a closed parking spot where you can't park your car no longer.
That's a very good description.
Right, it is a very good, so visual. That was wonderful.
That's beautiful.
And so that makes it where your muscles can't contract, and that's why we have issues moving and things like that. So
So tell us, give everybody kind of a brief synopsis of your MG story. How did you find out? And
well, I was always having certain symptoms, a little bit of eyelid droopiness, and over time it just started to get worse and worse. I was getting ready for a bodybuilding show, and I started seeing the symptoms where I couldn't control them. I would be working out and I would get a vertigo type of a feeling when I try to stand up or I would do things. And so I thought it was just because, bodybuilding, you get very low in body fat. So sometimes you get tired, you get fatigued, you get, loopy while you're getting ready for a show because low carbs, things like that, low body fat. So I attributed to that. But then after the shows were done, I didn't get better.
Right.
So I usually bounce back in a week or so, but it was no bounce back this last time in 2012. I mean, and I just knew that something was wrong. So I ended up seeing a ton of doctors. I saw at least 6 or 7 in the span of 5 or 6 months.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's always, they kept saying, well, they don't see anything, they don't see anything, they don't see anything. I need to see this person. I need to see this person. So eventually I ended up with a neurologist. And the neurologist I went to see, he actually specialized in sleep neurology and child neurology. So I'm like, well, this isn't the guy for me because I'm not sleeping, I'm not a child.
Right.
So he recommended a good doctor in Augusta, Dr. Edward J. Hartman. And this dude is like, man, he's spot on. He's like truly a genius and good at what he does. So I asked the doctor here, I said, if you were having this issue or if you were having these problems, who would you go see? Or if your child, who would you trust your child to?
Right.
And he told me Edward Hartman in Augusta at the Science University. And oh man, my life has been great ever since.
Yeah.
So I was able to have early diagnosis, which helped with my recovery.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so I was going to ask too, because you said in about 5 to 6 month time span is how long, but usually it can take years before they actually figure out that you have the condition. So that was a blessing. Really.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, and that happened that way. Mm-hmm.
So when I was looking to pull from, which we'll do our 5 later, it really just kind of hit me and resonated. I'm like, like God did a bang up job. Like, of course we don't want you to have MG, but the sheer fact that what you do makes you, being a bodybuilder makes you more intentional and more intuitive with your body.
Yes.
And so you were where normal people would probably let that go on a little longer, primarily because we live in a society that we don't sit still and nobody wants to do, you know what I mean? Like we're always running. Like you were able to grab things because of living that particular lifestyle. And on top of that, even when we get to like the foods that you're supposed to eat, like I just fully believe your recovery, not just the doctor and the early, diagnoses, but the way you eat, because bodybuilding requires a particular type of diet, which for bodybuilders is extreme. And so most people wouldn't necessarily need that, but it's still whole foods. And whole foods are the best, the
best thing.
Yeah. Say that again for the people in the back. What are they? Whole foods are
the best thing, the best thing, Whole Foods.
Yeah, that part. Okay, cool.
In the mic.
What has been your greatest challenge post-diagnosis?
I think it was really just accepting it. But, they say that God gives his hardest battles to his strongest warrior. So I really felt that I would rather have MG than some child where they couldn't express themselves and they couldn't know their body. They couldn't understand what was going on with them. So that's something I always felt like it was meant for me. It's not I don't like it, but at the same time,
but you feel like you can shoulder it.
Yeah, I can show. I can handle it.
Yeah.
I got big shoulders. I got big delts.
Legitimately. Literally. I'm going to change my word. Literally.
Can I ask you this? So looking back when you first got diagnosed and looking back now, like, what support do you feel like you needed to have that you wish maybe that wasn't there, and now looking back you wish that you would have had it? Or do you feel like you had the support that you needed during
I had great support. I had great friends. I had my fiance at the time was great for me. I had great people around me. My mother was always supportive. My brother, family, everybody was very supportive and in my corner. So, but it was always hard because at one time, you have a little eyelid droopiness or your face might droop, but you still look like a regular person. It's an invisible disease. So even if you have a situation where you fall down or you can't get up, your body's not responding to allow you to get up, but some people might look at you like, well, just get up. They kind of have that mindset, like, you look fine, just get up.
What's your problem?
Right. So that those things like that.
Like you don't even consider.
You don't consider that.
Because of what you've explained to me, or I've learned about the condition, is you're not even the prototype for it.
Right.
Not at all.
Tell us what typically this disease.
Typically, white men over 50 and white women over 30. So somewhere in my bloodline, I'm sure it's tainted. I got my great
we all mixing that somewhere.
It is.
It's a mix.
It's
I got a little bit of everything in my DNA. I'm sure. So, but yeah, so it was very hard to get that's why it was hard to get a diagnosis. But like I said, me being so thorough and so in tune with myself and my body, I was like, I knew something was wrong. I knew I had to talk to the next person. If this doctor didn't see it, I went to see an optometrist because it was my eye. And of course, I'm blind. I don't know if y'all can see these. They're thick as
Coke bottles. They're Coke bottles.
They're pretty thick, you know. But
What just hit me though, because there's so many things that the people of color that we deal with, right?
Yes.
And I'm just feeling another aspect of it with you just being blessed in your situation, because a lot of things are delayed.
Right.
Yes.
In general with this condition, and then you add on people of color, it is what it is.
Yes.
It's even more delayed,
Right.
and the fact that you were still able to in that time frame.
That's
God is amazing.
He is.
It's just
He is.
wow.
And
it just hit me, just like whoa.
It like literally like earlier today when I was going over things and just looking at. Dude, this dude's diet is on point.
Yeah.
Like what he does,
because beforehand, right?
Exactly. And bodybuilding is such a solo sport, and like you're constantly inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you don't want people to have a condition, but if you gonna have it, like if it's a thing, like you were set up almost to be able to get out here and really be a warrior for other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, specifically folks that kind of look like us.
Right. It's very rare, but it's a rare condition by itself.
Right.
I think it's less than 100,000 people out of the 7 billion in the world. So it's a very small.
That's like a tinkle in the bucket.
It is.
Yeah.
Is there any research? I don't think that aspect of it as far as people of color to look into for that condition.
It's very it's like I said, it's so minute. It's not really much for people of color. It's kind of just one of those things. I think it was on one of the shows, Empire, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The show Empire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's something on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's about Myasthenia Gravis and
Really?
Yeah, that's about it. That's the extent of what I've ever heard of it before.
Like on a public that way. Wow.
So let me ask you this. I have 2 questions. Well, really kind of probably 3. So my first one is, having traversed this space and living with it currently, and not just living with it, but thriving in it, because you're thriving. Like you're tell them what an IFBB Pro is, just real quick and fast.
That's the best of the best. I try not to be braggadocious or.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
we go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's the best bodybuilders in the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
You have to go through the circuit. You have to go through the NPC. You have to go to win local shows. You have to then get qualified for nationals. Then you have to place top 2 in the national show. So that's bodybuilders from all over the nation.
This is not a small feat.
Right. They only have 5 or 6 national shows per year, and then once you win a national show, then you become a pro and you can compete as a pro. It usually takes people about 10 years, but I was able to do it in 7.
Take you 10. I know.
I was able to do it within 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 of bodybuilding, period. Even with the diagnosis. So from start to finish, my bodybuilding I made it in 7 years.
Yeah. So my first question is.
I thought that was the question.
That was the first question.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, counting has really been my thing, but it's whatever. So my second question is, what 3 life lessons has MG taught you? And then the caveat to that is, what have you taught MG?
Ooh, can I curse?
I mean,
well, the first thing is perseverance. That's the number one thing I think MG has taught me. Persevere. Always strive to be your best. Always never stop, no matter what somebody tells you can do. It was funny when my neurologist, he finally told me, he said, well, I think your condition is getting better. You can start lifting weights again, but you'll never bodybuild again. That's what a neurologist, I told this man pretty much helped me get from a rag doll. It's called the rag doll disease. He helped me go from a rag doll back to a functioning adult. And he said he's so smart, but he didn't realize really the only difference between lifting weights and bodybuilding is the diet. Diet and posing. So
and really, this thing is powerful. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I say that would be the biggest lesson. I think you asked for 3.
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Overachieving over here.
Perseverance is
1.
Never giving up. You know what I'm saying? Never letting somebody tell you what you can or can't do. Always striving. Again, I might repeat myself a little bit, but striving to be your best, being your best self. And number 3, you got to put God first. You have to put God in your life, no matter if you want to call him. I know we praise Jesus and we Jehovah, whatever, whether it's Jesus, Allah, whatever, you put him first in your life, and everything else it'll follow. I praise the Most High. That's what I say. That way, it's all encompassing. So if somebody wants to praise Jesus, they want to praise Allah, I say the Most High. So it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I think those 3 things: perseverance. What was
Never giving up.
Never giving up and putting God first. I should have said that first.
It's okay. And then, what have you taught MG?
MG can't F with me. MG can't mess with me. I'm here to kick. I'm here to kick ASS. I do not play. So it had to learn a valuable lesson that you picked the wrong one today.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I like it.
Tell us about this part though, as being a parent. When we asked about that, about how that impacted you in your thought process with your kids and everything like that.
Well, my first question was, whenever I would go see my neurologist, I would always come with a list of questions. I would keep notes in my phone. And then that way when I get there to him, I'm sitting there reading. He was great, and he always took extra time, so I truly appreciated that, because the one hard thing about MG is you're living it, but everybody else is just experiencing a part of it. You get what I'm saying? Like this is your life. This is, and it's the most important thing to you, but to other people, it's just a diagnosis. And I'm sure it's that way with a lot of other diseases or things that go on. But my questions were to him: would my children be in danger? Will they ever have? Is it a what's the word I'm looking for? Genetic. Like I could pass it down to my children, but it wasn't. It's just one of those rare anomalies. So that was a blessing that my children. I have 6 of them. Like a spades hand. I got 6 if possible.
Okay.
But no, I have 6 children, so they were all covered. Then I only had 3 when I was diagnosed. I only had 3 then. MG strong.
But how has that changed the relationship, being a father?
Man, I think it makes you more understanding, more endearing to your children. It makes you a better person when you're not so quick to be so harsh on somebody because of not understanding. And I had to learn that lesson myself, because I didn't understand why this was happening to me. So as a father, I have to know, like, okay, you have to understand, be in an understanding mindset with your children. So I think that was a valuable lesson for me.
Okay.
All right. So really quickly, I usually do a high five. What I want to do today is I'm going to read to you foods that you should eat if you have MG, and then I got a question for Phil. Okay. Ready? All right. Foods to eat if you are diagnosed with MG. High protein foods. Lean meats, poultry, fish, tofu, legumes are good sources of protein. Fruits and vegetables. Healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil. They support the nerve function. Fiber, whole grains, beans, vegetables help maintain regular bowel, which is important as some MG medications can cause constipation. Here's the last one. Small, frequent meals. Eating smaller, frequent meals can help manage energy levels and reduce muscle fatigue. Tell me what a bodybuilding diet is.
It's exactly that.
I promise you, that's the way I'm telling you. It's exactly it.
Only thing you add is more greens. But that goes into the fiber. So green leafy vegetables, I would highlight a little bit more, but that's exactly a bodybuilder diet. So it's almost like it was a perfect marriage.
I can't even.
That's fine.
It literally was. And then foods to avoid: processed foods, alcohol, excessive sugar. Certain medications can have contraindications with the medications. Certain foods can be contraindicated with your...
Quick story. I was going through something and I had to go. I can't remember what was happening. I was having cramps or something. I had to go see my medical doctor. And the nurse practitioner came in and she saw me. And did you know they tried to give me a muscle relaxer?
Really?
I said, did you read my prescription list? I said, I'd never see her again. Matter of fact, I changed my medical doctor. After that, she really tried to prescribe me a muscle relaxer.
Wow.
And I'm like, you can clearly see what medicines I take. If I show anybody my medicine list, they know exactly what it is. And a medical professional, I'm not gonna say any names, I don't bash.
Thank you.
Let's not do that.
Excuse me for
And
the H
thing
word.
is, though, and not in her defense, but you have to look at those things. And some people,
Right.
if she's not
Knowledgeable.
well versed in your
Right.
condition, and just take, because people, you go through and you get into this mode, but you can't do that, especially with
Right.
particular conditions like that. Like, you definitely have to take extra precautions. So I'm glad that you were aware
Right.
of what you could
Yeah.
take. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's
Because my lips still down here like, you did what?
She tried to prescribe.
I just said even my profession. I'm like, you did a who?
yeah.
So, ways to improve or work with the condition. And again, when I tell you, I'm like looking at all this stuff and I'm going, it's literally, because when did we start doing yoga together?
18, 19?
Yeah.
2018, 19 maybe.
Okay, so
It's been a few
18
years.
18 would be, was that 6 years post diagnoses, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, ways to improve: breathing exercises.
Oh yeah.
Deep diaphragmatic breathing.
You're doing it.
I know. Okay.
So he's breathing. No, I'm saying he's breathing.
I
breathing. No.
thought it was the people in the back. Range of motion exercises,
Right.
strengthening exercises, cardiovascular exercises, and say that one for me, Phil.
Yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, I was.
What of any of those? Do you do any of that?
Oh man, let me see. Absolutely all of them. Sometimes
Yeah.
I have a rescue inhaler for just because sometimes breathing is still an issue,
Right.
even within remission. But because it's not the lungs. Lungs just inflate and deflate. It's the diaphragm. So your diaphragm gets tired.
Diaphragmatic
But you can
breathing.
definitely through yoga, through breathing technique. You gave me it's a app. I don't know if you use the Insight Timer.
Insight timer.
Oh my goodness, that thing is a lifesaver. I use it when I'm in the sauna. I use it when I'm just meditating myself. They have breathing techniques, and they don't pay me to say it, so I just give information to people. Insight Timer is a great app.
It is a great app.
They have
It
really is.
guided meditation, guided
Yes.
breathing practices.
Yes.
It's wonderful. I should practice more yoga, or I should be more into it as I get older. But time is.
Let's not do it.
She not gonna make it
You know
for
that.
you.
You know that.
You knew
So
better.
don't do that.
You knew better.
That's not.
I'll do better. Let's say that.
There
But
you go.
it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
There you
It's really a staple in my.
I'm incredibly, like, when we were working consistently, so proud of his, like, how his flexibility was changing, i.e. range of motion exercises, because that matters.
And that's most athletes. If you ever look into the history of just athletes, they do yoga, they do
Yep.
ballet. A lot of the people that we look
the
up
top
to.
ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Can I ask one question? I'm just gonna say it hit me. So you just came back from Brazil, right?
Yes.
And so I know that sometimes you have to make a lot of adjustments when traveling. Like, do you have to do a lot of things like that? Like you can't walk as far, or like you have to be strategic with places you go, how far you go, and things
While
like
in
that.
remission, I kind of get comfortable sometimes, but I always keep my medicine close.
Okay.
So it's one of the things. It's one of them. It's called Proteostigmine or Mestinon, the street name. For it. It's very, if you're going through a symptom, you're having symptoms, it'll help you relieve those symptoms almost immediately. So I have to carry those with me or keep them close enough to me. But myasthenia gravis is not. If you're in a crisis,
Right.
I wouldn't travel.
Right.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't travel at all. But while in remission, it's usually, it takes time. You'll start seeing the symptoms and the things will start happening in progression, and then I'll call my neurologist. We'll get back on it. We'll increase some medicines, but it's usually not that fast.
Okay.
It takes a little time to get that bad.
Yeah.
So I usually catch it beforehand, or if it's getting bad, I'm flying back to America.
Really,
So
I'm not gonna-
you said remission. Tell us really briefly about, because you said something very specific about the type of remission that
It's
you have.
medically induced remission. I want to say that's the terminology for it, medically induced remission. So I'm able to achieve remission through the medicine, pretty much.
Yes.
And so we're weaning off of some medicines like prednisone. Prednisone is one of the things I take. Prednisone is very harsh on the body. It's for a long period. People have a lot of bone issues and things like that. So my neurologist, we're just now, after this much time, we're trying to wean off of it.
Okay.
Over the years. Yeah. I'm down to.
Amen.
I'm down to 7 milligrams. I was up to 60 at one point. During my hardest time, it was 60 milligrams. So now I'm down to 7 milligrams every other day instead of 60 milligrams every day.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're on the way to to no longer take the medicine. That's the end goal. But I'm the type of person, I'll take it for the rest of my life. If it's going to keep my quality of life high enough, I'll take it till the wheels fall off.
So as we're about to close out, what last, let's say maybe 3 to 4 nuggets would you leave with people about checking for themselves, like diagnosing, like being able to recognize if this is something that's happening to them, or what resources would you share with them? Is there a website?
Well, you can always, it's a lot of groups on Facebook, a lot of support groups for people with MG. I've met some wonderful people over the years. They have a conference every year. It's usually June. June is Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month. So it's different things like that, but just try to be in tune with yourself, learn your body, take care of yourself. Like you read those lists of foods, stay away from the processed foods, stay away from alcohol. I'm still working on that one. I think, a couple of us are, no judgment, but too much tequila in Brazil, but stay away from things that bring you down, or I think that would be the biggest takeaway. But the bodybuilding diet it's actually a clean diet. Sometimes you can have too much of something, like you can have too much protein, it can make your body hard to process. As long as you drink water, keep your fiber intake high, it's really like a good thing to have. That's almost anything, any diagnosis, 99 out of 100, doctor's gonna tell you to eat clean. That's it. And exercise.
That's it.
Yep.
And that goes into cardiovascular and your yoga, do everything, stretch, mobility. Yes. It's a blessing. I'm over a certain age. I don't like to talk about it. I'm 25 plus 15.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's how we doing it.
Yeah. So.
I so appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you've kind of been motivation wise in my life over the years, and I'm super excited you came in.
Hero 6, y'all.
She got to get it together.
She hasn't watched Big Hero 6.
Wow.
She didn't get the joke.
But I shall.
We're going to do that at our next girls' night.
I will get on it.
I got you what to. I appreciate you guys having me. I really appreciate
we definitely appreciate having you on here. It's going to help change some lives.
Amen.
I'm telling you.
Amen.
I can appreciate that, recognizing those symptoms and stuff early on, and pay attention, and don't just put it in the back of your mind.
Yes. Be intentional with your life.
Absolutely.
With your life.
Absolutely.
With this encasing that you live in. Be intentional with it.
Absolutely.
It matters.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, I love you.
And I love you.
And I love you. Grande Felipe.
All right, guys. Until next time.
I love y'all. Bye. Oh, that was good.